15 years after the divisive ending to Lost, J.J. Abrams and Josh Holloway have a new TV series on HBO called Duster. Josh Holloway famously played Sawyer, one of the most beloved characters in Lost, renowned for his arc of starting as the abrasive racist on Oceanic 815 to eventually becoming a hero with a heart of gold. Out of everyone in Lost's cast, I've always been most surprised that Josh Holloway never took off as a Hollywood movie star, given how phenomenal he was through all 6 seasons. With a leading role in Duster's cast, it seems like Josh Holloway is finally getting his due time. J.J. Abrams, one of Hollywood's most famous creators, known for his work on Star Wars, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, and TV shows like Lost, created the 1970s set series in which Josh Holloway plays a crime getaway driver. The first episode, which is now streaming on Max, has been celebrated with a 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Josh Holloway's Duster character is reminiscent of Lost Sawyer. Jim Ellis feels a lot like 70s Sawyer. Of all the characters Josh Holloway has played since Lost's ending, Duster's Jim Ellis is the most reminiscent of Sawyer. He's a southern man with undeniable charm despite his life as a criminal, working as a driver under crime boss Ezra Saxton, his father-in-law. Though he's loyal to his line of work and the people he's employed by, he doesn't seem to share their ambition or maliciousness. In other words, he's just the driver. His real love is for his niece, Luna, whom he looks after in a surprisingly wholesome way. Sawyer was almost more villainous than Jim before he made it to the island. Though he had no particular desire to hurt innocent people, he was driven by rage and a need for revenge, even murdering a man in Australia. Not to mention, he was a criminal in his own right, drifting around America as a con man, happy to steal money from others, just as Anthony Cooper did to him. Duster's version of Sawyer will perhaps be most reminiscent of LaFleur, Sawyer's persona when living in the Dharma barracks in the 3 years spent in the 1970s. Of course, Sawyer had come from the present day, but we still had a chance to see what he might have been like in the 70s. For all intents and purposes, Josh Holloway's performance in Duster is identical to how he played Sawyer, just under vastly different circumstances. Duster is still a very different show from Lost for Josh Holloway and J.J. Abrams. Duster is a totally different vibe from Lost. Jim's car in Duster explained and how rare they are today, one custom image by Yida Chacon. Though Josh Holloway's performance will undoubtedly remind people of how much they love Sawyer, Duster isn't anything like Lost, which is almost more exciting. The show pays homage to 70s media with its style and swagger. There aren't any addictive mysteries or supernatural threats, and the cast is much smaller, but it's still a narrative driven by its characters and setting. Everyone who's been introduced in episode 1 feels candid and alive, just like in the early episodes of Lost, and it's clear these vibrant personalities will be the show's defining quality. J.J. Abrams, in particular, has spent much of his career on works of science fiction and horror, making Duster a notable departure for him. Josh Holloway also found a home in science fiction, with shows like Colony that attempted to capitalize on those who desired something as captivating as Lost. Seeing the pair of them collaborate on a project that feels entirely fresh, yet still highlights their individual strengths, is far more exciting than them attempting to mooch off Lost. Duster is fantastic so far, and anyone who loves Josh Holloway or J.J. Abrams needs to check it out.